My fondest memory as a young girl was going into my grandmother's house and grabbing a basket and walking down the path to my grandfather's huge garden filled with tomatoes and peppers and rhubarb and greens, and being able to go in and pick out the ripest, fattest, juiciest tomato. The prolific smell and the taste on a piece of Irish soda bread with salt was like the summer dream. And I knew that there was something deep, ancient, and meaningful about the whole process. I saw the care and the love that my family had and how important it was and how sacred it was to our daily existence. It was magic. My son was sick, and he was very sick, and he was a little boy. And the doctor said it's a protozoa that comes from eating leafy greens and strawberries from the Mexican food supply. So here I was, a mother who was trying to feed her son healthily, and yet I was poisoning him. So I began to grow my own. And then I began to go, when I could grow my own, to the local farmers and understand what type of growing practices. When I said to the doctor, what is the remedy for this? He said, eating locally, eating organically, knowing who your farmer is. And I knew when I was growing my food and I began to connect with these farmers that we had something in common. Incredible produce that was going to feed my children's health and their mental well-being. And that was the beginning. Well, I was growing heirloom tomatoes, and a farmer gave me a refrigerated truck. And I began schlepping them door to door to the chefs. And I went to Tom Colicchio's restaurant, and he got into the truck, and he started tasting, and everything he tasted, he was blown away by. So much so that he mentioned me on a Good Morning America interview. This woman that drives around to these small farms and farmers and tastes everything and brings them to the back door of the kitchen. And I knew that this was the right thing. It was right for me, it was right for the farmers, it was right for the customers, and it was right for the chefs. And at the same time, a revolution was happening in the marketplace. And the top chefs who had a conscience wanted to serve the people the best food. So I began to be sought out. They knew that the authenticity and the legitimacy of me going to all these small farms and farmers was the thing that they knew they needed to support. Not only did it give them the best product, but it also gave them a clean and a clear conscience. It was amazing. So the way it works is a chef gives me a clue about what he wants or likes. And I go out, and it's a scavenger hunt. It's an adventure through the farms and forests to find the best and to bring it to the table so that his clients will have the most incredible dining experience. But along the way, there are these adventures, these detours that take me into other farms and other adventures and more incredible product. And so from that has evolved my whole business, my whole ability to know where the best is, how we get the best, when it's in season, and who grows it, where, and why. Anything you're doing, there's a legacy that you want to leave that is based upon what's been written in your heart to do. I know that what I'm following is a protection for a food system that is becoming more and more rare. We need to get back to knowing who your farmer is, knowing what he's growing and buying what he's growing within seasons so that the proliferation of our small farms comes back to us. That's where our health is. That's where our community support is. We have limited amounts of energy, and as you get older, you notice even more variations in your energy. And so the food that's properly grown will energize and invigorate our lives, and that's the whole purpose of living. As I improved my diet, my mental well-being and the way that I felt physically improved incredibly. And so it's really a very common sense thing to go towards that which makes you feel terrific. It's a high. I am passionate about what I do because I know the long-term effect of food on the psyche and on the body. And I've seen diseases and I've seen families ravaged by these diseases that could be prevented by eating properly and by cleaning up our food supply and our food system. The tragedy in all of this has been that what I have is only available to the top chefs. It should be in the hands of our everyday families. And that's what I want to do. Bring it back into the families. I lost that connection to the earth that I had felt so often as a child going into my grandfather's garden. And foraging brought me back to that. And eating this way brought me back to my roots and to what I knew was intuitively the right way for me to live. What better job could I have than to know what's the best and where to find it, but also to be able to bring healing foods into people's lives and to be eating it myself.